What's going on, Gifted Hands family? It is Elijah here bringing you another lesson. And today we're gonna be talking about 3 gospel concepts that you can use in C major that is gonna make your playing sound more advanced. It's gonna make it sound like you actually play gospel music. So whether you play R&B, blues, country, classical, whatever, just follow and use these 3 simple concepts and you're gonna get that gospel sound, all right? So let's dive into it. So first things first, let's just make up a random progression, okay? Let's say we got, see, hey, I'm already adding too many gospel movements. Let's do 1, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 1, 3, 4, 5, 1. This is an Ed Sheeran song right here, right? All right, so that's gonna be our progression, 1, 3, 4, 5. So what can we do to make this progression sound more gospel-fied, gospel-y, whatever word you want to use, okay? So what we're gonna do first is going to be to embellish the chords that were already given, right? That's the first step. Embellish is just a fancy word for adding some extra notes to the chords, okay? So if we got 1, 3, I can play my 3 chord. Instead of playing like a 1/3, I can play a chord like this, which is really instead of like a C major over E, it's like a C major 7 over E, or C major 9. You could even think of it as C major 9. So when we embellish something, we're usually just gonna extend the chord, right? Or alter the chord. 1, 3, 4, 5, 1. All right, and then we're playing like a 4 as a major 7 or a major 9, so we're extending our 4 chord, as well as when we get to the 5 chord, I'm gonna embellish that, not necessarily by adding extra, well, actually I do add extra notes too. So I make it like a G9 or G add 2 chord, right? But I'm gonna take this a step further and actually invert the chord as well, right? So instead of playing just G with the root and the bass, I'm gonna actually move the bass note to a B. Why? Because there's a rule of inversions that we use. And all it says is that if I have any chord, whatever the chord is, doesn't matter. In this case, it's G, it's a G major chord. I can use any of these notes that are in this chord for the bass note, okay? So instead of playing G in the bass, I can play B in the bass. Or maybe instead of playing B in the bass, we play D in the bass. And each bass note is gonna give us a different sound, a different feel, but they all work together theoretically. All right, so now we got 1, 3, 4, 5. All right, so just by embellishing the chords, we didn't change really any of the chords. The harmony still functionally works the same. We're just adding just some color, really. We're adding color to the progression, okay? So that's step 1. Step 2, another way that we can make any progression sound more gospel-fied. I know I'm making up words today, but we can add passing chords, all right? So that's the second thing we can do. We can embellish the chords first. Second thing we can do is add passing chords. So instead of just playing what's written or playing the chords that are given to you in a song, we can add on top of that, and that's a lot of times what gospel musicians do, is if we have 1, 3, 4, 5, like just that much right there, I added a bunch of passing chords, which passing chords is simply, if I have a chord that I'm trying to get to, right? Instead of going directly to that chord, I'm gonna add in an extra chord or an extra progression, even a temporary progression, that's going to help me transition from one place to the next, cool? So like, there's tons and tons of options, but I'll give you just one super common passing progression or passing chord that's used in gospel is dominant chords, right? And so if we're on the 1, say we're on the 1, we're going to the 3, right? 4, 5. So if I want to get to the 3, let's say I want to get to the 3, I can throw in a passing chord that's a fifth away from this E, which is our 3 chord, right? So I could throw in like a B dominant chord. Why? Because this is a fifth away from our 3 chord. And a dominant chord wants to resolve down a fifth. That's the rule of secondary dominance, right? So I play a B dominant chord and wants to resolve to E. All right, so 1, 3. We got a passing chord to the 3. 4, and I can even throw in a passing chord. This 1 dominant, C dominant, wants to pass to F. So I can play C dominant as a passing chord to get to F major. All right, so we got 1, 3, 4, 5, and then even to get back to the beginning of our progression, the progression starts at 1, right? So to get back to the beginning of that, what we can do is, we're already on the 5. I think I switched it up and played it as like a suspended chord. We can add in a 5 dominant because this chord wants to pass back to the 1, right? So let's do 1, 3, pass to the 4, 5, and this is a dominant chord, right? Or we can play it like this. This is a dominant chord to pass it back to the 1. So 1, 3, pass to the 4, 5, inverted 5, pass to the 1. All right, so that's the second thing we can do. And finally, one other thing that you can do to make your playing sound more like gospel, to take some gospel tricks and add them to your songs, is going to be to simply add walk-ups, add movement to your playing. So instead of just staying on one chord, right? We've already talked about adding passing chords. What you can do also is, we're in C major, right? So I can connect chords, not just by adding dominant chords, but I could also walk up the major scale or walk down the major scale to get from chord to chord. So if we're going 1, I could do something like that. We could do 1, 2, and let's even go chromatic to get to the 3. So 1, passing to the 3, dominant chord to get to the 4, 5, 1, and even that one was a little bit simpler. 1, 2, 3, dominant chord to pass to the 4. Right? So something like that would work, which would be just 4 for 6, 5 over 7 to the 1, right? And that's just another little movement that we can do walking up the major scale to connect chords. So all together, those 3 steps. Last time, here we go. All right, and that's it. That's 3 ways that you can add some nice gospel theory to your playing and get a more full, more complex, more gospel sounding piano. All right, see you in the next lesson.